So I had a pretty peculiar day over the weekend, and I kind of wanted to share it with all of you guys, particularly those of you who followed me for a long time, all the way back to the FFTCG days. Because I actually went to an FFTCG tournament on Saturday, and somehow this happened. And I don't quite know how. So if you guys want to find out more about how I managed to somehow get top cut in a 60, I think it was 63 player tournament, having not even looked at an FFTCG card for over 3 years, then stay tuned and keep on watching. Before we get started, of course, don't forget to check out all of my social media links in the description box below. And I also just want to give a quick shout out to the players of City of Final Fantasy Opera Omnia. I know that there was a 5th anniversary live stream that happened. I hope that you guys were really excited about whatever came from that. I was actually streaming Dead Space at the time, so I didn't see it myself. But I hope for those of you that are playing that you get a lot out of the anniversary, and I hope it's really enjoyable for you. But if you want to come over and find me playing all sorts of Final Fantasy stuff, as well as, well, Dead Space, and a bunch of other games that I really love, then perhaps you'd like to come over and chat to me over on Twitch. You guys can keep me caught up on Dissidia for a change. That'd be quite nice. And of course, I do want to give a quick shout out to one of my patrons. Every time I release a video, I always shout out one of my patrons over on Patreon. And today, that person is going to be Blood Otaku, who was actually at the tournament that I went to at the weekend. It was lovely seeing you, and honestly, I love meeting all of you guys, and to all the people I saw at the event who knew me, it was really lovely, but we'll get more into that as we go. And I also do have another announcement. I am going to be performing a charity stream in this month of February, which is going to be for the release of Theatrhythm Final Bar Line. Now, I am exceptionally excited for Final Bar Line, and I'm even more excited to be supporting It Gets Better UK, which is a charity aimed at LGBTQ+ youth, especially those who have felt ostracized or have felt lonely. It's designed to help people feel uplifted and to show the community at large that we are a community that is built on love and support. So if you'd like to come along with that, there is details in my community post. There's all sorts of things on Twitch as well. If you want to come and find me for that, then please do so. It's a wonderful charity and I'm honored to be supporting them. Right, so basically, I'll tell you from the beginning. I decided on maybe Thursday that I saw that there was an event going on for FFTCG, and I've had like a couple of weeks where I felt a little bit lonely, you know, and I haven't really explored FFTCG in a really long time, but I miss the people from it a huge amount. Like, I've got a lot of friends in that community, and I spotted some names of people going that I was like, oh, I know them, and, you know, it'd be lovely to see people. And I thought, do you know what? London's not that far from me. I'll head up to London and I'll go and see what it's all about. I had no intention of actually playing in the event. I had no intention of, you know, doing anything beyond going in there for an hour or two just to kind of catch up with people and see what people were doing. Well, I get there, and I was a little nervous, to be honest, because I hadn't played the game in over 3 years. I didn't know if perhaps everyone was different. Perhaps people were really upset with me because I didn't play the game anymore, or anything like that. And the truth could not be further from that. I walked in, and the best way that I can describe this, I went to Brotherhood Games for a start. Big shout outs to them. They've always been amazing for hosting events for FFTCG in the London area. So if you know of Brotherhood Games, do go and support them as well. They host amazing events for all sorts of TCGs, Yu-Gi-Oh, Vanguard, Magic, FFTCG, all sorts of things like that. Definitely go and give them some support as well. And I walked in, and the best way, as I say, I think to describe it is, you know, when you haven't seen somebody in let's say 3 years. Yeah, I walked in and it felt like I saw them all last week. Like, it was just the most amazing thing. It was weird because there was 60 odd people there, and a lot of them did remember me, and we walked in there and it was just like, oh my god, it was like a reconnection, and it was amazing. So then I thought, okay, like I've got what I came for. I was saying hello to all my friends, and then Alex, a friend of mine who was previously world champion for FFTCG and was helping TO the event, just walks up to me and goes, Joe, you're playing. And he hands me this deck, and I'm like, Alex, I don't know what any of the cards do. I'm going to make a fool of myself. He's like, don't worry about it. It's fine. You know, you'll just have a bit of fun. It's one of my decks. It's going to be good. You'll be fine. And I'm like, right, okay. And then obviously loads of people start coming up to me and go, oh my God, Joe's getting back in the game. Josephyr's going to start making videos again. I'm like, no. I just came in because I wanted to say hi and I wanted to see what everyone was up to, and it kind of just progressed from that. So then I'm sitting there at this desk and I'm sitting there writing out a deck list. I'm like reading the cards as I go. For those of you who are currently playing FFTCG, I was playing a mono water deck that I was borrowing, and luckily it's a mono colored deck, so I was like, well, at least I know how to play the game at all. I know the fundamentals of the game, so I was like, okay, I know what's going on. And I'm reading these cards. Now bear in mind that the last time I played FFTCG was Opus 9, so the 9th set, and now they're up to set 18, so I'm behind when it comes to this game and what's going on with it. But I'm reading some of these cards like Sildra, and I'm like looking, I'm like, that ain't right. You know, something with ultra consistency. If you've played any card game ever, then you'll know that putting consistency in a deck is like the be all and end all of how to make it good. Then I'm reading cards like a new Lena that's come out, and I loved that. And I actually was like given a copy of this Lena at the end of the tournament, so a massive shout out for that. That was really, really sweet. Because I just thought, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on. Obviously, people start coming up to me and they're like, oh, you know, you are playing. Oh, that deck's really good. You'll be fine. And I'm sitting there cracking jokes at myself because it's a self-defense thing, I suppose. But I'm sitting there going, oh, you know, I don't know what anything does. Please don't expect anything out of me. If the deck's really good, then I'll make an even bigger fool of myself when I fail and like don't have a clue what I'm doing. And then I kind of start going on and like saying, you know, again, you know, you ramble, or I certainly do, and I'm like, oh, if I end up like not starting winning some of these games, then some of you guys need to check this, because like I haven't played the game in 3 years, and I thought I was being funny. Probably pissed people off by saying that, thinking about it, and I look back and I'm like, oh, Joe, shut up, what are you doing? But then, you know, then my friend Tim comes up to me, gives me this playmat. He said, you've got to play with this playmat. There was apparently like this unreleased one with Shantotto on it, from a Crystal Cup that got cancelled. Crystal Cups being like the major events for Final Fantasy and the ones that I used to do a lot of commentary for. So I was like, it was overwhelming, but in the best possible way. So, obviously, a lot of you guys probably won't understand what I mean when I'm talking about, like, the strategies of the deck for FFTCG or anything like that. But for those of you that do, this mono water deck was designed to get Lena out with a very large break zone or graveyard bin, whatever you want to call it, and then using that to then make big swingy plays with Final Fantasy XIV's Leviathan, which was released a few sets ago, and you kind of just go off doing that kind of thing. And it was really consistent. It worked really well. And I sat there and you know, the first game I played was with somebody who had been playing the game for a couple of years, but started after I'd stopped. And it was really lovely. And I kind of did just kind of get back into the swing of it. It was weird that sometimes when things change, yet they stay the same. Like I did kind of, it was like riding a bike, or at least it would be. But fun fact for you all, I can't actually ride a bike. And I sat there and I was just kind of getting into the groove of it. I haven't played a card game since that time, and yet it made sense. And I was playing against my opponent. They were playing Fire Samurais, I believe, and I was playing Mono Water, which has control elements to it. And I kind of knew, oh, this is a value card, so that wants to be gotten rid of as quickly as possible. And the fundamentals of card gaming just kind of came back to me, and it just played out well. I got taken to 6 damage pretty quickly because it was quite a rushy deck, but I managed to stabilize and come back with the win. And I sat around and thought, oh, well, at least I've won a game, you know, I can walk away happy. Brilliant, love that. Felt a bit bad that I'd kind of made this fuss about the fact that I didn't know what I was doing and then won a game, which probably made me look like a complete arsehole, but, you know, self-defense mechanisms and all of that stuff. So game 2 comes around, and it happens again, and I'm kind of playing, and I remember the fundamentals of how to play, and I won again. And I thought, oh, okay, this deck is clearly just playing itself. So if you are an FFTCG player, and you want something to take to a tournament, take Mono Water, because apparently somebody who hasn't played the game in 3 years can pilot it and it'd be absolutely fine. So that goes to speak volumes for the power of the deck. So quite a few people at the event did know of me. They knew I was a full-time content creator. They knew I streamed like 5 days a week and all that. So I thought to myself, they had a stream set up there. They had, you know, Brotherhood Games has their own channel for streaming, etc. And I thought, oh, please don't put me on a feature match. Please don't put me on a feature match. I'm absolutely going to be horrified and embarrassed because I'm not going to know what's going on, and people are going to kind of see me and possibly remember me from back in the day, and they're going to think, oh, Joeseph is back with this, and I thought, oh no. So of course they did. round 3 comes along and, you know, Joesephyr table, like feature table. I thought, oh no, this is going to end in tragedy. And luckily, I was playing against somebody who I knew very well, my friend Jonathan, who I haven't seen for a really long time either. And we were playing this game, and, you know, through miracles, I somehow won that game as well. And we were like playing, we were having a laugh about it. I misplayed, he misplayed. It was a laugh. It was fun. And that was what made it feel so magical. I didn't feel any pressure at all because there was no expectation that I'd set to myself, or we were just messing around, and it was really good fun, or I certainly was. And just catching up with people as I'm playing this game that I played every day for like 2 or 3 years and haven't played in so long, and it just, the pieces all just fit back together, and it was wonderful. So this was a 6-round event. I think one more player would have made it 64, which would have made it a 7-round event, which is probably just as well, because I was supposed to be meeting a friend of mine that afternoon, and I'd somehow stuck in this tournament for the entire day, and there was a lot of apology texts going out. Round 4 and 5, I lost my games, and round 4 I was against Steve from the YYT. If you have played FFTCG for a long time, you'd know those guys. They're from Scotland. Absolutely delightful bunch of people. I have all the time in the world for them. Really sweet. And I'm playing the mirror match, and I'm like, well, at least one of us knows what the cards in this deck does and what the combos are, etc. And I'm sitting there thinking I'm going to be really embarrassed. But it actually turned out to be quite a good game until I made some terrible misplays with Leviathan and got my own board wiped. But hey, you know, it was funny at the very least. And then game 5, I was playing against another friend of mine that I haven't played in a long while, Joesephyr, who is a very prolific player in the FFTCG community. Absolutely whitewashed me. Absolutely whitewashed me. But apparently the deck that he was playing, which is Wind Ice, was designed to, like, it's a bad matchup for mono water. So yeah, absolutely got destroyed. And then round 6, again, I was playing another game and I won again. It was against Fire Earth FF7 cards. And so we get to the end of this day, and I'm like, oh, no, that was really fun. Thank you very much. You know, I had a really, really good time. And they're like, where are you going? You've probably made top cut. And I'm like, no, surely not. Like, there's no way that could happen. And then sure enough, the standings go up, and I came 13th out of 63. And then day 2 would have been the top cut. So I did what any, you know, self-respecting player that perhaps doesn't know what he's doing did, and I grabbed my stuff and I left and I went home and I couldn't come back for day 2. Yeah. No, in all seriousness, I couldn't go back the following day. I had a lot of work things that I had to do. I had a lot of things I needed to sort out. I've had these terrible audio delay issues with my stream, and I really wanted to get them fixed. And again, I came to this event just to say hi and just kind of catch up with people and see how everybody was. But I left with the biggest smile on my face. Like, it was unbelievable. Like, it just felt like home. It was weird, but in the best possible way. Everyone's like, oh, Joe, you've got to come out for drinks. And I'm like, I've got a friend that I really need to go and see. And I've left, like, this like 4 hours in delay. But I still got roped in to go out for like 20 minutes. And those kinds of things, just the camaraderie of the community, certainly one as tightly knit as that, just makes it for me. And it really did hammer home for me what my channel and what my journey online has always been all about, which is bringing people together who have a common interest, and the common interest not necessarily being the be all and end all of that connection that you have with that person. It's like you have a conduit, which is that shared hobby, whether it be Final Fantasy trading card game, the Dissidia, like obviously I've only recently stopped playing that, and having just that core community of people who love something and share that, and it blossom into something greater, that is a magical thing. And for me to see this 60 plus number of people, possibly like closer to 70 if you include TOs, etc., and it feel just right, is an incredible feeling. So before I continue, I want to give massive shout outs to Brotherhood Games for hosting the event, Alex Hancock, who hosted the event and has been a friend of mine for a long time and is a pillar of the community for that game, Tim, who is a friend of mine who works at the company and I used to work with, obviously, and it turned out that I hadn't seen him in about 3 years, and he hadn't been at in the event in person for a long time either, so it was quite lovely to see him too. There were so many people that I could shout out, so many, you know, YYT guys, you know, Rob and Joshua. There's so many, so many. Everyone I played against was absolutely delightful and was very understanding of the fact that I didn't know what I was doing, and yet somehow did. And then, like I said, I probably should have double backed on what I was saying, and, you know. But when you're nervous about these things, sometimes you ramble. Like, I get nervous every time I turn this camera on, and sometimes I ramble. But it was just amazing, and the game is still really fun. And I guess the reason that I wanted to make this video is because I don't think that very many people are even aware that the FFTCG still has a prominent community, or much less even the fact that it exists. I speak to a lot of people that don't even know it exists, and I've met so many good people from this game that presented such a strong sense of community that it inspired me to keep going as a content creator, and still inspires me to keep going as a content creator to this day. So now I know what you're all thinking. Is Joesephyr going to go straight back into FFTCG now that he's not doing Dissidia and stuff anymore? And the answer, like, I hate to say it, but the answer is no, certainly not to the level that I did it before. I am one of these people that likes to have variety in their life, and focusing my channel on a singular activity is what I've discovered I'm not very... It doesn't make me happy or feel very fulfilled. However, given that I went to this event not intending to play at all and came away from it with an incredible experience, I would love to go to events again. I would love to see people. I would love to just have that experience again. It was phenomenal, and I encourage you, anyone who is showing an interest in FFTCG, it is an incredible community full of wonderful people that I cannot sing their praises enough. Like, it's just a magical experience. And if you love Final Fantasy like I do, then it's definitely something you may want to consider looking into. Certainly, even if you don't have like a local community, make one. You know, we can all do that. I've done it with fighting games, I've done it with YouTube, I've done it with streaming, I've done it with FFTCG. If you like something and you enjoy it, you can find other people to join in with, and it's just a case of, you don't have to make a big deal out of it. Just buy a pair of starter decks and, you know, sit across from one of your friends and just enjoy the time with the starter decks. You don't have to go into everything 100%. Just see if you like it and then let it develop from there. It's how I did it. So yeah, that's pretty much it for today's video. I kind of wanted to give everybody an update on just what I've been doing over the past few days. I do have another video planned for the end of this week regarding my favorite final boss in all of Final Fantasy, and why I believe it is the best final boss in all of Final Fantasy. I am also looking at saving up to acquire the Ultimania books and the audio encyclopedias, because I think that they'll actually help my research for various projects a great deal, so I'm looking at doing that as well. And of course, we do have the charity streams coming up, and an absolute megaton of releases to do with Final Fantasy going forward. So for those of you who have supported my journey, whether it be for FFTCG or for DFFOO or for Final Fantasy XIV or for anything like that, I want to just express a massive thank you to you and to the FFTCG for community for just being amazing people. Like, it really does make the experience. For me, the community always comes first, and that's the reason that we take part in these things, is because you walk away with a smile on your face because you interacted with some good people, and that's the be all and end all of it. If I could afford to go out and buy 9 sets worth of FFTCG stuff, do you know what? I probably would. But and I would go and travel to events and stuff, but obviously, you know, there are more factors at play there than just, yeah, I'm just going to snap these things into my existence. But I just had an amazing time, and I wanted to express that online. I wanted everyone to know about how amazing the FFTCG community really is. So if you're considering it, I highly encourage you to give it a shot. I've obviously had cards shown on screen while I've been talking about these things. So if you're wanting to have a look at it, check out the Square Enix website, FFTCG fans on Facebook. There's lots of groups out there that do play the game. So definitely don't think of this thing as something that, oh, there's no point getting into it because it's not huge. Get into it because there's good people in it. So don't forget to like, subscribe, all of that good stuff that every YouTuber in the world tells you to do. And just have a really good day. And hopefully I'll get to meet more of you guys in the future. Thanks ever so much for watching, everyone. And I'll see you guys soon. Take care.